Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, don't do unboxings, but we might do a few playthroughs in the near future if you behave yourselves. But today we will conclude our annual rundown of our top 100 board games of all time. What have you thought of our list so far? Have any of your favourite games appeared on this list? If not, then that's because A, we ain't played them, or B, we think they're complete and utter dog shit. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. And we'll see you after this.
Bollocks. Bollocks.
So number 10 on our list of our top 100 board games of all time is a game that sees you take on the role of an upper class twat. This is a game called Obsession. In Obsession, you will be enticing Victorian gentry into your gaff, putting on events and activities for them to fuck about with, all the while overcharging them and maybe getting them to look at a couple of statues, you know what I mean? One thing that we like about Obsession is that it uses photos that look like photos, right? Fucking postmodernism, eh? On the character cards, and it really does reinforce the theme. If you add in the upstairs, downstairs expansion, the amount of options that you get with this game increases like a billion-fold. And we recently got hold of the characters expansion, which adds more characters, right? So yeah, Obsession is another one of them games that takes a lot of mechanics from other games and plants them into an original theming, yeah? We haven't seen anything like this before. And this is a game that is continually in our top 10 games of all time. So if you haven't played Obsession, then don't be a tight Victorian and go and get it.
Number 9.
Bollocks.
Number 9 on this list is a game by Vlada Chvátil, who has been sort of unnervingly quiet over the last few years in terms of board game designs, yeah? Maybe he's bought Epstein Island and he's living off the proceeds of Codenames. Who knows? But in Mage Knight, you'll be taking on the role of a Mage Knight. You'll be roaming around a modular board. You might be attacking orcs. You might be trying to sack mage towers. And eventually, you'll come across a city and hopefully you'll be powerful enough to go in there and level it to the ground, yeah? Mage Knight was regarded as one of the most complex board games in living memory because it had 2 rulebooks, yeah? 2 rulebooks, and it uses a really novel card-based mechanic where you will have a hand of cards that will have multiple uses, and when you get injured, the wounds come into your deck, clogging it up. Mage Knight's been around for 100 billion years, and it never gets old, and we are absolutely salivating with anticipation for the new expansion that is going to drop real soon, yeah? So Mage Knight, one of the greatest single-player games, but it's not exclusively single-player. You can play it with up to 4, but I wouldn't recommend it. It takes too long. But yeah, one of the greatest single-player experiences we've or I've ever had, and it's super.
Bollocks.
So number 8 on this list is an ancient Egyptian themed dudes on the map game called Kemet. We're not talking about the reprint version, the, what's it called, Blood in the Shit or something. We're talking about the original version, yeah? So it's like a dudes on a map game. You'll be doing the Kramer and Kiesling thing where you'll be spending points to take actions. You might want to summon these mythological creatures, or you might just want to buy some power tiles that will give you game-breaking special abilities, yeah? One thing that we like about Kemet is that it encourages confrontation from the get-go, yeah? You'll be able to teleport directly into your opponent's backyard and take a piss up their fence, yeah? Then fuck off without them knowing about it. Add to that the lavish production value, the existence of a couple of fantastic expansions, especially the Tau Ceti expansion, and that's what it's called. And yet, Kemet is a fantastic war game, dudes on the map game, whose ramifications are still felt within the industry today.
Bollocks.
So number 7 on this list is a mega game, or a game that's turning into a mega game. It's a game that takes all day to play, and it is Twilight Imperium 4th edition, yeah? This is a 4X game, essentially, so you'll be building units, expanding across the universe, wearing a pair of pink speedos, and trying to take over the central planet that is Mechatol Rex, yeah? This has just got a new expansion which gives even more options, yeah? The game is now huge. It's up there with its predecessor, the 3rd edition, in terms of content. And the amount of alien races that you've got in this game now are staggering, yeah? There's never going to be a game that plays the same, ever. This is an event game. Like we said, it takes all day to play, and it is a little bit problematic trying to get people into a room for a whole day on a weekend or whenever you can do it. But if you can do that, then this game is going to tell you a unique story every time you play it, yeah? And that is one of the reasons that we keep coming back to Twilight Imperium, even though we only play it like once or twice a year. It is simply stunning.
Bollocks.
Number 6 on this list is a war game that some people say isn't a war game, but those people can get the fuck out of my house, right? This is a game called Memoir 44. If you're talking about the core set, you can have the Americans and Germans facing off against each other on a map. It's a card and dice based game. You'll be using cards to take actions and you'll be using dice to resolve combat. It's a relatively simple game until you start adding in the plethora of expansions. You've got all the different theatres of war from World War II, the Eastern Front, the Pacific Theatre, Mediterranean Theatre and all that shit. And this game really, really does come alive when you start to throw in the Overlord expansions, which double the size of the maps on pre-printed paper mats, yeah? Okay, it's a bit of a pain in the arse setting it up. Got to trawl through all the different troop arrangements and make sure you get it all dead right. But if you can play this with 6 to 8 players, where one player is the commanding general issuing orders to the players on either side of them, then Memoir 44 is another one of those epic games. It doesn't take all day to play, so don't go out, buy a pair of adult nappies just in case you are starting to shit yourself already. But it's an epic experience that if you haven't played it with the Overlord expansion, then you really are missing out on something in your life that is genuinely worthwhile doing. You thought Jaeger bombs were exciting, didn't you?
Bollocks.
Number 5 on this list is the greatest dexterity game known to humanity and one of our favourite games of all time. It's a game called Pitch Car, yeah? This is a flicking game where you've got these discs that are supposedly cars and you've got these MDF pieces of track that you'll be making into like a track jigsaw thing with rails on one side or maybe 2 sides, yeah? Flick the disc and it basically is the player that crosses the finish line in first place after a certain number of laps, yeah? There's a few little rules where if you sort of go off the track, you go back to where you were, or if you turn the car upside down, go back to where you were if somebody knocks you off. But at the time of making this video, I do believe there's like 9 or 10 expansions for this. There's a stunt track expansion, there's a loop the loop expansion, which sadly we missed, and there's loads of other little bits and pieces that you can throw in to make the track unique, yeah? I think there was some geezer a few years ago that made up all of the Formula 1 tracks and had a whole season of pitch car Formula 1 type stuff. Whether that's just one of those Arthurian legends, I have no idea, but I like to believe it's true because I'm a gullible bastard. Yeah, but Pitch Car, one of the greatest dexterity games ever made and one of the greatest board games because it's made out of board, yeah? MDF's cardboard, innit? Don't get funny with me this time of year, yeah? I'll end badly for you. Yeah, Pitch Car, greatest dexterity game ever made, and you really need to hunt it down or I will hunt you down.
Bollocks.
Number 4 is a party game that we played literally only a few days ago, yeah? And we've been playing it a lot over the holiday season. It's fucking Christmas, all right? This is a game called Monikers, right? This is a commercial version of a public domain game called Personalities or something like that. So you don't even really need to buy this one, but this one is a little bit more boardy than the public domain one or the other commercial one called Time's Up, yeah? Monikers takes place over 3 rounds. You'll be using a shared deck of cards. On round 1, you'll look at the card and you'll be able to say whatever you want as long as it's not written on the card. You'll be able to make gestures, act like a complete and utter fucktard. And in round 2, you'll do the same sort of thing, but you'll only be able to use 1 word, right? In round 3, you'll be using the same deck of cards. You'll draw the cards up together like you did in round 1 and 2. And then you won't be able to say anything. That'll have to be actions only, yeah? Each card has a point value and you'll add up all the points over the 3 rounds and whichever team's got the most points wins. Monikers never fails to impress. It always makes me laugh to the point where a little bit of wee comes out, yeah? Not a little bit of shit, a little bit of wee. And I'm sure the day will come where I laugh so hard that I shart into my undercrackers, yeah? Monikers, one of the, well, it is the greatest party game ever made, yeah? The beauty being that you don't even have to fucking buy anything, yeah? Just make the shit up on your own, so I've just told you how to play it, yeah? So you've got no excuses over the Christmas period to play the game called Celebrities. Just write some random people on a fucking piece of paper and off you go. Have one of the greatest times over Christmas that you're ever likely to have, unless your family are a bunch of shitbags.
Bollocks.
Number 3 is another event game that we picked up only recently, yeah? We did a first of its kind on board gaming YouTube influencing creating shit. where we did a 360-degree playthrough of this game called War Room, yeah? Go and have a look at it if you're interested, yeah? And if you see anyone copying my idea, send me the link so I can sue them at the Royal Court of Justice, right? War Room is a sort of spiritual successor to a game called Axis and Allies, and it is made by the same geezer, Larry somebody or other. War Room sees you taking on the role of one of the Allies or the Axis factions from World War II. You'll be building different units, air, land and sea. You'll be placing them out on the board. You'll be moving units and then you'll be having a scrap, yeah? It sounds really simple and I suppose on paper it is, yeah? There's 9 different phases you've got to go through. A lot of them are very, very small, but the amount of strategy and tactics that this game involves, juggling all of the different theatres of war that are intrinsically linked in order to gain victory, is a mind-boggling feat of ingenuity, yeah? Whereas Axis and Allies had individual units on the board got really crowded. War Room uses this stacking system of tokens, which solves that problem almost entirely, yeah. War Room was a revelation when we first played it. It's one of them games that as you're thinking about it for days, if not weeks afterwards, yeah, I was getting messages from people that played it saying, oh, I wish we'd done this, I wish we'd done that, when are we playing it next? In my opinion, it's one of the greatest war games ever made, largely because it's so accessible. Okay, it does take a very, very long time to play, yeah, we were at it for like 12 hours when we last played it, so there is that. Suffers from the same sort of thing as Twilight Imperium. You've got to have the right amount of people that are willing to sacrifice a, albeit small, portion of their life to get this to the table. But if you can find those human beings on planet Earth, then War Room is guaranteed to tickle your ball bag.
Bollocks.
So number 2 on this list is a game that basically lasts for only 13 minutes. Well, it doesn't actually, but in the game it does. It's a game called Stationfall. In Stationfall, you are a character on a space station that is catastrophically falling to Earth, and you've got 13 minutes or 13 rounds to complete your objective before it enters the mesosphere and blows up, yeah? Some of these objectives might be getting hold of a gun or taking some compromat or unleashing the monster that is in the lab on the ship, yeah? It's a hidden role game, so nobody will know which characters you are, and everyone can manipulate each other's characters until they're revealed, yeah? So if you're the Astro Chimp, you're not the only one that can move the chimp around, take actions with it. Everyone else can until you're revealed. Stationfall is very, very difficult to teach. The reason being is that there's so many different actions and so many different options available. Also, there's so many different characters, so it's a lot of information to take in before you start playing it, yeah? But if you can get over that hurdle, Stationfall is one of the most thematic games we have ever played. Again, it's one of them games that tells a different story every time you play it, yeah? It's one of them games that when you talk about it in the future, you'll be thinking, yeah, this happened here. Do you remember when you did that stupid thing and this happened? So yes, Stationfall is our number 2 game of all time, and it's simply just a masterpiece of design and the greatest hidden role game ever made.
Bollocks.
So we have finally reached our destination, and you're going to reach your final destination real soon. If you don't drink and drive, then you probably live a little bit longer than me, right? But our number 1 game of all time is a game called Cyclades, the Legendary Edition. Yeah, this was a reprint of a game that has been our number 1 game of all time for every year, aside from one, I do believe. And I was thinking, do I really need to pick this up? I've already got the original Cyclades with all the expansions, and I thought, you know what, fuck it, let's have a look. And somehow they managed to make it better than the original, which is kind of weird, yeah? Basically what it does, it selects all of the best elements of the original game and amalgamates them into a single box, yeah? And as a bonus, it even adds extra stuff, yeah? You've now got a modular board, you haven't got set islands, they change from game to game, got more mythological creatures, and the auction system has been streamlined to the point where it works more efficiently, right? If you add in the stunning production value, okay, the box cardboard is a little bit too thin for my liking, yeah, a little bit wonky. I mean, no game is perfect, right? But they could have spent a little bit more money on making the box cardboard a little bit more robust. But if you add in the stunning miniatures, the wealth of heroes and mythological creatures that are in the game now, then Cyclades Legendary Edition is quite simply the greatest board game of all time, in my opinion. And most of you know that already, don't you? So there's no point in waffling on about it any longer, other than to tell you, go out on Boxing Day, make those people's lives who work in retail even more miserable than they are, and demand that they give to you a copy of this game, yeah? So yeah, that's it. It's all over. You can go out and do whatever the fuck you want now. What was it? Jumping in front of an ice cream van or something, wasn't it? But yeah, go and stuff your face on mulled wine, eat shitloads, and then wonder why you've got chronic indigestion and hemorrhoids coming out your arsehole. And all that remains to be said is thank you for watching this complete and utter inane bullshit for the last 24 days. And thank you for continuing to put up with my completely pointless thoughts on board games and the wider industry, yeah? So we're probably going to take a little bit of a break over the Christmas period, and we will come back with our New Year rant, where we examine the state of the board game industry in 2026 and make a few predictions along the way, yeah? So yeah, don't die between now and the 1st of January, even if you do feel like your gut is going to explode, or maybe even implode if you're a bit of a weirdo. So yeah, happy Christmas, and you can fuck off in 3, 2...